Hello, it's ChewDog Charts. So it's now that time of the year that all the investment firms are coming out with their new picks for the next year. And as usual, Merrill Lynch has come out with their top picks. They've come out with 11 stocks, and I've gone through all of them. And we're only going to talk about three because most of the picks I don't agree with. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with these three picks, but we're going to go through these three stocks, take a look, and then you can make up your own mind. So, coming into 2018, some picks from Merrill Lynch. Let's take a look. And the first stock here is IDEC Laboratories. The symbol is IDXX, and this is the top healthcare play for Merrill Lynch for 2018. And IDEC Laboratories is a leading provider of diagnostic and information technology products and services for pet and production animal health, water quality and milk safety, and human point of care diagnostics. The Merrill Lynch price target is 175 and the consensus target is 143, which is less than Friday's close of 157.65. And as we can see here, we have a lot of congestion in the past year. So rather than being a top pick, in my opinion, this is a lump of coal. So let's go ahead and move down and look at the MACD. And the MACD, you can see here that we've got the top and it reflected down. And in fact, the fast line has moved through the slow line or the trigger line. We can see that here in the histogram where we have the first bar going sub-zero and a definite downward trend. Moving into the momentum indicator, much the same. We have a little bit of a reflection here, but I think this thing is headed to the zero line, at least the momentum indicator is. The price rate of change, definitely the fast line moved through the slow line and heading toward zero. The relative strength is also weakening. It was up here, reflected, and turned actually direction, moved down here, and we're at 62.80. The stochastics as well, moving down. I don't see any signs of a turnaround at this point. Moving into the volumes, not showing us too much, and into the Williams, and the Williams is also heading down. So back up to the price chart. We can see that the level here in this past year was well above the 20, 50, and 200 EMAs. And in my opinion, I think that stock gravity is just simply taking effect and that this stock probably has a bleak future, at least in the short term. Personally, I would not be interested in it, and I would not recommend it. So let's move to our next chart. The next stock here is Priceline. The symbol is PCLN. And Priceline Group is an online travel business offering airline tickets, hotel rooms, rental cars, vacation packages, and cruises. It generates over 85% of the gross profit from its international brands. Priceline operates Priceline.com, Booking.com, Kayak.com, and others, including OpenTable. Now, the travel giant is seen by many as an open-ended growth story here. Many on Wall Street continue to see comparisons easing for international bookings and margins improving in 2018. Merrill Lynch price objective is $1,890, but the posted consensus target is $1,996 above its most recent closing price on Friday of $1775.26. Now, as opposed to IDEC Laboratories, I think Priceline has a chance, even though the most recent move has topped out here and we're heading down. We're resting there on the 20 EMA. I think we may go below that and head toward the 50 EMA, and I'll show you why. particularly the MACD. The fast line has moved through the slow line or trigger line, and we're heading down. Don't see any sign yet of a reversal or any sort of bottoming. Moving here into the MACD, you can see that the last bar went negative, so we are in a negative trend. Momentum indicator shows the same. Moving here into the price rate of change, not much different, still heading down. The relative strength also moving down. However, we see that it had its first reflection off of the 50 line. Moving down to the stochastics, we don't see any sign of anything but a downward trend. Moving here into the volume, volume has been trending down for the last several years. And I would say in a sell-off, you do want to see volume declining. Here in the Williams looks like it reflected off somewhere near the midline 50 line, but still in a downward trend. Nothing conclusive telling us that this stock is ready to turn. So going back up to the price chart, what I see as a possibility as opposed to IDEC Laboratories is that going all the way back here to 2009, it's ridden above the 20 EMA with the exception of this period here in early 2016. Otherwise, it's ridden that 20 EMA. So I think we may have another potential here for the stock to move down and perhaps approach the 50 EMA as it did back in this period here. Going down back to the MACD, we see that in that time frame when it reflected off of the EMA, the 50 EMA, it had a nice little bull like that. I would be looking for something in price line to be somewhat the same as this here. But looking at this was a period of time of 2.5 years that it needed to consolidate before moving up. So it may be a period of time before Priceline does recover. But watch that. Watch the price move down to the 50 and then see if that does consolidate there and then perhaps strengthen. But that's going to take some time. Something that you're going to want to watch, but the evolution is going to be many, many, many months. Let's go to the next chart. And here we are at our last chart, which is Verizon Communications. Now, again, Merrill Lynch had a total of 11 picks, and we're only looking at 3. And that's primarily because most of their picks, in my mind, are lumps of coal. Verizon Communications, as you know, is a global leader in delivering the so-called digital world. Verizon Wireless operates America's self-described most reliable wireless network with 109.5 million retail connections nationwide. Investors are paid a relatively decent dividend of over 4%, and Merrill Lynch has raised its price target to 55 from 52. And the consensus target is $50.61, which is slightly under the Friday close of $53.19. And as you can see here, it doesn't have a lot of volatility necessarily. A good 10-point range from 45 to 55 here for the last couple of years or so. Recently, it's bounced off its 200 EMA, moved through the 50 and the 20 EMA, and heading up. Moving down into the MACD, we can see the bottom here, and then the next bottom at this point. It's close enough, even though this most recent bottom is lower. I don't think that's too significant because it's near the midline 0 line, and the fast line just moved right through the trigger line here just recently, and it looks like it may be heading on its way up, and we can see that in the histogram where it bottomed here and moved up, and then we have our first bar moving above 0 into positive territory. The momentum indicator shows much the same, bottom there and a reflection up. The price rate of change kind of one of my favorite oscillators. The fast line moved above the slow line here, so hopefully it can stay above that slow line and then ride on the way up. Relative strength shows a bottom here and then the move up. Now this oscillator does show that the most recent bottoming here is above this bottom in, say, mid-2015, so some positive factors moving there in that regard. The stochastic had a bottom here down at the 20 level and a good reflection off, and moving up, the fast line has moved through the 50 or midline with the slow line approaching that relatively quickly here. I do like the volume. The volume, although not significantly positive, it's at least remained level. Going into the Williams, again, another bottom here in, say, early mid-2017, and a strong move upward from that point in time. Back up here to the price chart. I kind of like the fact that we have bottomed here and then another bottom here, both reflections off of that 200 EMA. And through these other oscillators, such as the MACD, I think you have a winner here. So, as usual, I do not hold any positions in Verizon or any other stocks. I'm not making any recommendations. Before you do any purchasing or sales of any of these stocks, I would recommend that you conduct further analysis of the fundamentals, but at least by the price chart, Verizon looks like a decent potential. I would appreciate if you subscribed and hit that notification bell for any new videos. So again, for ChewDog Charts, I say thank you.